Hey guys, welcome back. Now we review quite a few TVs on our channel actually, and we have quite a few lined up in the future, including our very first OLED TV review, alright? So if you don't want to miss that, do remember to subscribe. But of course, TVs aren't the only option for watching videos at home. You've also had projectors for a long time. However, the regular projectors that were affordable, well, felt simply not good enough. There were a lot of downsides to it, things like poor picture quality, not being visible at all during daylight, and of course you've got other issues with maintenance and bulb replacements and all that. And the ones that were really good or had really good quality used to cost thousands of dollars, but still had caveats to get good picture quality. But now it looks like we might have a projector that is a legit alternative to the TV. And I'm talking about the BeamerX II Home Cinema Projector. Alright, so very quickly talking about the specs for this projector. Now, first of all, this has a Full HD or 1080p native resolution, and that's important, and we're going to talk about that later. Now, it also has a brightness of 8000 lumens, which is fantastic for a projector, especially a projector of this size. Now, not only that, okay, this uses an LED instead of your regular bulbs that you get in projectors, and we'll talk more about that later as well. Now, this one is actually a smart projector, alright? So now for the BeamerX II projector, there are two variants. So one which is the regular one, which is just a projector, and another one, the one that I have, which is also a smart projector. Now, because it's a smart projector, it also supports Wi-Fi, but not only that, it has its own operating system with YouTube and Netflix installed. So yeah, like I said, it has its own operating system, which by the way is really snappy. I was surprised. It didn't feel like laggy or anything at all. Take it from me, it's really smooth, no issues at all. Now, to control the projector, you have a remote, a small little remote, which is great. Now, even if you lose that, you actually have touch controls on the projector itself. It gives you almost the full features that you get on a remote, which is fantastic. Now, like I said, it's got YouTube and Netflix installed, so I've been testing it out for a while. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, no issues at all with the smart operating system. Now, not only that, you can actually use Mirrorcast. So this projector supports Mirrorcast, which means you can mirror your phone onto the projector, which is great for certain things. Now, it's really good, like say for example, you want to show people pictures that you've taken on the phone, or maybe like any still images or website, I think is totally fine. One thing I found about Mirrorcast is that it's not great for video. So if you want to watch videos on it, stick to like YouTube, Netflix, or even plugging in like a thumb drive or a hard drive, because it supports a full range of different video formats. And that brings us to our I/O, alright? So it has two HDMI ports, which is really good. It also has a VGA port, a bit legacy, but I think it's great to have anyway. You also have an AV out and a 3.5mm out. So the 3.5mm out, or like a headphone out, allows you to plug into your headphones or plug into external speakers. But the AV out, so the AV out connects to an RCA connector, and they actually do provide that cable. So it looks like a 3.5mm on one side, but on the other again, you get the full like yellow, white and red RCA connectors. So even though the projector has an AV out and an audio out, it doesn't actually need it. So it has built-in speakers, and take it from someone who is really picky about audio, I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the speakers. Now, it has two USB ports, which is great for like plugging in like your thumb drive or your hard drive, like I said, to play videos, and it supports almost every single video format. The only thing I feel that it's kind of missing is a LAN port. Now, it does support Wi-Fi, like I said, which is great, but depending on the placement of your projector in your home, you might not get a good Wi-Fi signal, so it would have been a really nice backup to have an Ethernet or a LAN connector inside. Now, first up, I want to talk about that 1080p native resolution. Now, a lot of projectors for the last few years now, they will say that, oh, they support a 1080p signal. But actually what it does is it supports that signal, but it downscales it to that projector's native resolution, which can be like 1024 by 768 or even like 860 by 480. So what that means is you actually get a much lower resolution and in fact a poor quality video. So even from far it might look okay, it will still be blurred, but when you go closer, you start to see really big individual pixels. So having a 1080p native resolution makes it so much better. The video quality is a lot sharper. Even the colors are a lot more vibrant. That's what I found on this projector. And coupled with that 8000 lumen brightness, that's really, really good for projectors. Not only in the night, but in the day. I mean, it's not going to be as good during the day, but that's just the nature of how projectors work. But even during the day, you could still see everything clearly. Not everything was washed out by the daylight. So another thing that sets this BeamerX II projector apart from your older, more regular projectors is really LED versus bulbs. So older projectors would use a bulb that you would need to replace every about 2000 hours on average. It would differ depending on projector, but on average it's about 2000 hours. Now, one advantage of these older projectors is that once that bulb reaches the end of life, you just replace it, although at a cost, all right? Now, these LEDs in the BeamerX II projector, they can't actually be replaced, but honestly, I don't think it matters. I mean, look at it this way. It has a lifespan of 50 hours, all right? So that means if this projector was on 24 hours a day, all right, without switching off and the light always being on, it would still last 7.5 years, all right? And no one is going to use the projector for 24 hours a day. Come on. So you might be asking, what are some of the advantages a projector would have over a TV, all right? Now, I think the most obvious advantage is really the screen size. So TVs can go up to like 65 inch, 75 inch, and they can cost 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, even 5 digits, all right, in terms of pricing. Now, this projector, all right, has an effective screen size range. That means it has the smallest to a largest range for the quality of the video to still be acceptable, right? So it has a good range between 43 inches to 200 inches, all right? So between 43 to 200 inches, you get this entire range, anything that you can adjust on that same projector. Now, granted, you're never going to get the same contrast ratio, you're never going to get the same picture quality in some ways compared to like an actual TV. But there are other reasons to get a projector as well. So another reason is it's a lot easier to move about, right? So let's picture this scenario. Let's say you live in a really small apartment, or even let's say you're renting a room, all right? And you don't have, number one, a space to install a TV, all right? Because a TV might be too big. Or you might not have a space to mount it because you don't have a console, or you can't mount it on a wall because you don't have wall space big enough to fit a TV. So one option you have is you can actually buy this projector, all right? You can even get, like, for example, a screen, which BeamerX actually sells. So BeamerX sells a whole different range of projector screens at surprisingly affordable prices. They have all sorts of projector screens, all right? They have your usual tripod projector screens, they have tabletop projector screens, they have the larger standalone projector screens, and they even have those motorized ones that you install on the ceiling. So one option is, if you want, you can install a projector screen, and then you can use that to display your projector, which is really easy and saves a lot of space. And then when you're done, you can just pack it up, move it away, and you save so much space. And they even have stands for your projector, right? If you can't find a place to prop the projector on top. So you can just get the stand, also again, really affordable, prop that up, and then when you're done, it easily folds away. But yeah, that's one reason. Another reason is if you wanted to build like your own home theater, like room in your home, it's really easy. You can get the room really dark, set it how you want, plop the projector, and again, for large groups, a projector is definitely better than a TV. So speaking of large groups, so what I did was a few of my friends, my wife, friends and family, we decided to have a get together and we wanted to play some games. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity, you know, to test out the projector. So I brought the projector over, we put it up on the wall, it was perfect. You know, there were quite a few of us, you know, and we all played like this thing called Jackbox games. If you're not familiar, you can check it out on Steam. It's really, really fun. It's a game where, you know, it's projected on the screen, the rules are there, and then you play the game on your phone together. And having that projector with that many people was the perfect setup. It was so good. The instructions are really big. The game was right there for everyone to see. All of us had a fantastic time. You can actually get really, really good picture quality pretty close to like TVs and all that if you know, follow like the best practices. So we'll just go through them very quickly. And number one of the most important is pick a good spot or where you want to project the image. All right, so if you have a bare wall, that'll be fantastic. If you can't find a wall big enough, maybe get a projector screen. That will work really well. But if you want to project it on the wall, make sure that there aren't any switches or anything on the wall. It would be nice if you get a bare wall. The other thing is trying to find a spot where you don't get sunlight shining directly on the wall during the day. If there is sun shining on it, try and get a curtain so that you can block it off when you watch. Now, having said that, like I said, you don't need like pitch black, all right? You don't need pitch darkness. Normal daylight, it actually works out pretty well. You just don't want like sun shining directly on the wall. Now, the other thing is, and not a lot of people think about this, is get the right height, right? Find the right height where you want to place your projector, right? So there are a few ways to do this. One is, if let's say you got people sitting at the back and you want to put the projector in front, you can. But I mean, of course, like I said, the nearer the projector is to the wall, the smaller the screen size. So it would be good to find a good spot. Now, let's say you want to put it behind where you're going to sit to watch your show. It would be good to get it higher than like the highest person and where they're seated. Remember to never put it at the same level as where people will sit, because then their heads are just going to block the entire screen. The other one is try to get the projector as straight pointing towards the wall as much as possible. Of course, there will be a situation where you can't, and that's fine. But if you get it straight as possible, even if it's an angle bottom pointing up or top pointing down, the back of the projector has a very easy keystone dial that will help you get the image straight, but only on a vertical level. But don't worry, if let's say the projector has to be at a weird angle, if you use your remote and go into the settings, you have the full keystone control to get the image straight. And this one has got to do more with the lifespan or the maintenance of the projector. But if you look at the back and on the side, there are actually two filters that you can remove. And you should probably clean that regularly. I'm not quite sure how often exactly, but my guess, I think the safe one would be once a month, I think would be safe. Those filters are basically to prevent dust from being sucked into the projector from the fans. So just take that out, just clean that every now and then, put that in. That would prevent the projector from overheating, and basically overall it would increase the lifespan of the projector. So yeah, if you follow those and you have a projector, you're definitely gonna have a really nice experience. Alright, so let's talk about the price of the BeamerX II projector. So like I said, there are actually two variants. There is the regular projector, which is just a projector, and the smart version, which has a built-in operating system with like YouTube and Netflix. Alright, so the regular version comes in at about 299 Singapore dollars, and the smart version is about 399 Singapore dollars. So yeah, considering the effective screen size that you could possibly have with this projector, it is excellent value. I mean, of course, there are a few caveats, but it's very easy to solve those with the examples and with the best practices that I gave you before. So of course, the big question is, should you buy this projector? And I mean, there are a lot of reasons why you should, but of course, there are a lot of reasons why you shouldn't. I mean, like I said, it really depends on your use case scenario, what you would need it for, and all the reasons that I gave above. If any of those fits your needs, or if any of the problems that I mentioned before kind of suits the problems you're facing, like space constraints and all that, or having large groups, or if you want to build your own home theater system, then the BeamerX II projector might actually be one of the best options right now, and finally, a really good alternative to a TV. Alright, so that about wraps up my review of the BeamerX II projector. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.